This episode is sponsored by SmartVestor. Connect with an investing pro for free at RamseySolutions.com/invest. You're listening to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires, where we talk investing, retirement, building wealth, and outrageous generosity.
Kurt is in Philadelphia. Hi, Kurt. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Better than I deserve. What's up?
I'm wondering if you have advice for me. I have about $7.8 million in financial assets, with the bulk of it, $6 million in tax-deferred IRAs, 401ks, and 403bs. I'm a 66-year-old guy, and I'm taking Social Security, amounts to about $3,600 a month, and I have a pension of about $1,000 a month. My problem, and I think you can see it, is that in 7 years, I'm going to go off a cliff with required minimum distributions on my tax-deferred accounts.
Yep.
And I can't solve this. This is going to boost me into the highest tax bracket, I think, and trigger IRMA and other kind of penalties. Is there any answer for me?
God, I hate it when you got $7 million worth of money. Way to go, man. You did great. I just wish it wasn't all in tax deferred. Oh, my gosh.
Yeah, I didn't realize that till too late.
Yeah. So, okay. So is it all 401k or what is most of it is?
It's IRAs. The bulk of it is in 401k and 403b, but some of it's in IRAs.
Did you say some of it was like a 457, just deferred income?
Yes. 457B. That's what it is. Yeah.
How much of it is that?
Geez, you would ask me that. I think it's about half of it. Half of the $6 million is in that.
Wow. I'm trying to think through the math. So the extreme answer that is not the answer, but this is helping me run the math while I'm live here on the air with you, is if you just moved it all to Roth, you would pay taxes on all of it now.
In one fell swoop.
If you did. I'm not suggesting that. I'm just trying to work that through in my head, because that's basically going to cost you about 30 cents on the dollar. And so that's going to cost you like $2.5 million.
Yikes.
And that leaves you $5 million, 100% tax-free, and 100% tax-free growth from now on. And when you leave that money in the estate, there won't be any tax to your heirs because it's in a Roth. Inherited traditional becomes taxable, of course, to the next generation because you hadn't yet paid taxes on it. And, of course, Roth has no RMD.
Right.
So that's the extreme. That makes me want to shoot somebody when I think about $2.5 million going to the stupid government. So that's not my answer, but I'm trying to think through. That solves all of the problems, except the $2.5 million problem, right?
Yeah.
So is there some iteration off of that where we get enough of it out of, and we take enough pain that we get the RMDs down? Or do we want to just bite the bullet and be done and rip the Band-Aid? Oh, that's so harsh. That's the cliff.
And that's the problem I'm facing. I can't do enough over the next 7 years to really make a dent.
Oh, you can do it all. You could roll it all to a Roth.
Unless I do it all at once.
Well, or you can do half of it. I mean, you can do enough. You're just going to pay taxes on it.
Yeah.
That's no penalties, just taxes.
Right.
And of course, you'd have to manage, if you're trying to manage tax brackets, like you said, you move 100, you start bumping brackets. You move 200, you're in another bracket. Right. And so you get into bracket creep, and that's why it's pretty much going to be 30%, because that's what you're saying. You can't do enough at a low tax bracket.
Right. That's what I meant
to do any good. No, you can't. That's the other. One end of the spectrum is you get slaughtered. The other end of the spectrum is you bleed to death a drop at a time.
Oh gosh.
And that's God, that is an interesting. I'm not disagreeing with your guy. You are heading for a cliff. You can stop it, but the antidote is very painful.
If he did half and took,
he's still gonna have RMDs that are gonna be. So you got $3.5 million. The RMDs that start at 72.5. Yeah. So here's the formula you could run. Here's another formula that's not a full bleed out, okay? You could run and say, what's the most I can leave in, and the RMD doesn't trigger IRMA, and the RMD doesn't put me in the top tax bracket. Okay, so what's the most I can leave in, and then take the hit on the rest of it and go ahead and move it to Roth. That's a somewhat of a middle ground. There's nothing in this equation that's not painful, though. There's pain somewhere in this equation.
Oh, that's what I was afraid of.
Yeah.
I thought maybe there was a magic bullet somewhere.
No, I don't. If there is, I don't know it. No. I have I'm 63, and I've systematically moved 100% of my stuff to Roth over the past decade for that reason, because I knew I was going to have RMD coming down my throat, and I knew from an estate planning standpoint, I'm likely to never touch any of it. You probably will never touch the vast majority of this. It's going to your heirs. And so you've got another problem if you go the RMD route, is your heirs are going to get this tax problem.
Shoot.
Because the inherited IRAs, and under the new stinking Biden rules, they're going to make them take that money in like 5 years, or it's either 5 or 10 years. They got to pull it all. Yeah. You can't leave it. It's worse than RMDs. Inherited IRAs have required distributions on them now.
Wow.
They're more than the RMDs, a lot more. The Secure Act, that's what that Biden crap was called. And so, because what happened was people were rolling it to the inherited IRAs and never touching it, and so the government was never getting their money. And so they figured out they want their money out of there, and so they're requiring these inherited IRAs to be liquidated. I believe it's 10 years.
10 years.
I believe it might have moved it even to 7, but it's really fast. Kurt, I don't have good advice for you on the air live right this second. I will think about it, and
is there a way I can circle back?
The knowledge that I have, yeah, you're welcome to call back in, and we'll put you back on. We'll do this again. But the knowledge that I have might not have the bullet it doesn't have the bullet if there is a silver bullet out there. And I'm kind of thinking now, the more I sit in this, if I'm in your shoes, I might just, and I'm thinking more about your kids, I might just move it all. I might watch the election and see what happens with tax rates after the election, because Trump had lower tax rates than Biden does on people like you and me, because we're evil and we must be punished. We've built wealth. And so, and you're feeling that right now. You know, this is what tax policy does to people right here. You work your whole freaking life, and then you get screwed by the government again. So, as soon as I can anticipate the lowest possible tax bracket for this money, I might move it all. Okay. And then I'm done with it. I got rid of IRMA. I got rid of RMDs. I got rid of inheritance problem, but I also got rid of $2 million.
Yeah.
And you're 66, and you know what's going to happen to that $5 million is that when you are 73, it's going to be $10 million. And when you're 81, it's going to be $20 million. And if you're healthy, that's a high probability, actuarially speaking. Mm-hmm. And so $20 million is going to be taxable instead of 7.6. That's another reason I might go ahead and do it.
So do it now.
Yeah. I'm not advising you to do that, but at this moment, that's starting to feel better than the other crap that we're all sitting here talking about. None of this feels good. It's a shame that a man works his whole life and starts from nothing and ends up with $7.6 million by saving, and he's 66 years old, and he has to sit and decide which way the government's going to screw him. That's a shame. You people that vote wrong, you should be ashamed of yourself.
Thanks for tuning in to Ramsey Everyday Millionaires. To learn more about how to plan for retirement, visit RamseySolutions.com/retire or click the link in the show notes. Ramsey Solutions is a paid non-client promoter of participating pros. Learn more at RamseySolutions.com/SmartVestor.